Adventure riders all face the same dilemma at the start of a new season. Which bike is worth buying this year? In 2026, the choices range from lightweight explorers to luxury long haulers, and not every shiny model deserves your garage space. Today, we're diving into 10 of the best adventure bikes you should buy in 2026, covering comfort, capability, and that all-important rider experience. Stick around, because the last two bikes are absolute showstoppers. BMW F900GS Adventure. Let's kick things off with the BMW F900GS Adventure, a bike that shows just how refined the middleweight adventure class has become. Slide onto the seat and you'll notice immediately how balanced everything feels. The upright ergonomics, the wide bars, the confidence-inspiring stance. It's the kind of comfort that makes you want to keep riding, even when the sun is going down and you told yourself you'd stop hours ago. At around $17.5 in the US, the F900GS Adventure is BMW's answer to riders who want something lighter and more manageable than the R1300GS without giving up that German touring comfort. Friend of mine swapped his big GS for the F900 because, in his words, "I got tired of wrestling the heavyweight every time the road turned to gravel. The 900 feels like a GS that went on a diet but kept its luxury. With electronic aids, adjustable suspension, and enough luggage options to cross a continent, this bike is built for serious travel. It doesn't try to overwhelm you with size or intimidate with sheer power. Instead, it strikes a rare balance between agility and comfort." For 2026, the F900GS Adventure is the smart rider's premium pick. Refined enough for long-haul touring, but nimble enough to handle the rough stuff without breaking a sweat. If this sounds like your kind of ride, hit that like button now, because the next few machines bring even more surprises and comfort you won't want to miss. KTM 1390 Super Adventure R. Now, if you're the kind of rider who likes your adventure with a heavy dose of adrenaline, the KTM 1390 Super Adventure R will grab your attention immediately. This is not a bike that whispers refinement, it growls performance. Sit on it, and you're perched high, commanding, with suspension that looks like it belongs on a Dakar racer. The comfort here isn't about soft plushness, it's about the confidence that comes from a bike built to dominate both tarmac and trails. The price? You're looking at well north of $20,000, but that number tells a story. It buys you class-leading suspension, an electronic suite that feels like it came from a fighter jet, and a V-twin engine that has the kind of power to make mountain highways feel like drag strips. That's the essence of this KTM. It's for riders who want an adventure bike that feels alive. A bike that challenges you to push further, ride harder, and explore places others might hesitate. The ergonomics are surprisingly forgiving too. Adjustable windscreen, comfortable seat for long days, and suspension that soaks up punishment with ease. In 2026, the KTM 1390 Super Adventure R is the wild card of the adventure world. A bike built for riders who crave both luxury and a shot of chaos in every mile. Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. On the other end of the spectrum sits the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, a bike that proves comfort and adventure don't have to come wrapped in excess. The Himalayan has always been about simplicity, and in this new 450 form, it finally has the power and refinement to make it a credible long-distance companion. Throw a leg over, and you're greeted by a low, welcoming seat, upright bars, and suspension that makes even washboard roads feel manageable. Here's the best part. It costs around $7,000, but don't mistake that for lack of quality. A rider in Colorado Springs finished a 1,000-mile trip through the Rockies on his Himalayan. He said, "I thought I'd buy it as a second bike, but I've put more miles on it this year than my BMW. It's just so easy to ride." That anecdote sums up the charm. It's not about specs, it's about approachability and comfort that make you want to ride more often. The Himalayan 450 is the kind of bike that removes barriers. It's light enough to handle on tight trails, comfortable enough to ride all day, and simple enough that maintenance never feels like a burden. In 2026, it's one of the most honest adventure bikes you can buy. Not flashy, not overbuilt, just pure riding pleasure with enough comfort to keep you smiling mile after mile. CF Moto Ibex 800E. CEF Moto has been shaking things up, and the Ibex 800E proves they've arrived on the adventure scene for real. At first glance, it looks like any other mid-weight ADV, but spend some time in the saddle and you'll notice the refinement. The upright riding position feels relaxed, the seat is supportive for long days, and the windscreen does a great job of shielding you from fatigue. It's comfort done right, and you feel it mile after mile. At around $12,000, the Ibex 800E gives you a surprising mix of high-end features. KYB suspension, a TFT dash, cruise control, and luggage options. One rider had taken his Ibex across both desert flats and mountain passes. He told, "I bought it expecting a compromise, but halfway through the trip I realized it felt like I was on a European bike, just easier to live with." That's the story here. A bike that blends comfort with capability in a way that makes sense in 2026. It's not trying to dethrone the heavyweights, but it doesn't need to. The Ibex 800E is for riders who want a premium adventure feel, without the intimidation of bigger machines. Practical, refined, and comfortable. It's proof that CF Moto is no longer just up and coming. They've arrived. And here's the thing. The next bikes bring hidden gems and two legendary machines that could easily be your forever adventure partners. Stick around. You don't want to miss this. KTM 890 Adventure R. If there's a bike that truly embodies ready to race in the adventure world, it's the KTM 890 Adventure R. This machine is built for riders who want to leave the pavement behind and keep going long after the gravel starts. The seating position is commanding, the suspension travel feels endless, and the ergonomics are tuned for standing up on the pegs as much as sitting back on the highway. The price hovers around $15,000, which is right in line with its off-road pedigree. Riders call it a rally bike with license plates, and that's not far off. Confidence is the KTM's real luxury. It's not the plushest seat in the category, but it doesn't need to be. The comfort here comes from suspension that soaks up punishment and geometry that keeps you in control, even when the terrain gets sketchy. In 2026, the KTM 890 Adventure R remains the benchmark for riders who want raw adventure capability without stepping into the heavyweight class. Honda XL750 Transalp. Honda's return to the mid-weight adventure class with the XL750 Transalp has been one of the most exciting stories of recent years, and in 2026, it continues to impress. The ergonomics are spot on, wide bars, a natural upright seating position, and suspension that feels just as happy on gravel roads as it does on highways. The comfort is understated, but undeniable. Price comes in just under $10,000, which is remarkable considering the refinement you get. This bike isn't just approachable, it's addictive. The Transalp is designed for versatility. It's light enough for newer riders, but still capable of big-mile trips that seasoned adventurers crave. It doesn't overwhelm with complexity or size. Instead, it offers a balanced ride that makes every journey enjoyable. For 2026, the Transalp is Honda's masterclass in comfort and usability, and one of the smartest adventure picks on the market. BMW R1300GS Adventure. When it comes to big adventure bikes, the BMW R1300GS Adventure is the undisputed heavyweight champion. This machine was built for crossing continents. The ergonomics are commanding yet comfortable. The seat is broad and supportive, and the electronics package feels like it was borrowed from aviation. You don't ride a GS Adventure, you live with it, and it becomes a partner in your journey. Expect to spend around $28,000 for a well-equipped model. That's no small sum, but what you get is incredible. Adaptive suspension, endless luggage options, long-range fuel capacity, and comfort that makes 12-hour days feel surprisingly manageable. I remember reading recently that a GS Adventure carried this one rider from Florida without a single sore muscle. He told that, "It's like a business class seat that can climb a mountain." That's the essence of the 1300 GS Adventure. It's not for everyone. It's big, it's heavy, and it demands respect. But for riders who want the ultimate blend of comfort, endurance, and prestige, there's nothing quite like it. In 2026, it remains the flagship of the adventure category. If you're still here, you're clearly serious about adventure. Subscribe now because the final 3 bikes on this list are some of the most fascinating in the world. CF Moto Ibex 450. Now let's scale things back with the CF Moto Ibex 450, a bike that proves adventure doesn't always have to come in heavyweight form. With a price around $7,000, it's approachable, but more importantly, it's genuinely capable. The upright seating position is comfortable. The suspension is tuned to handle both trails and back roads, and its lighter weight makes it confidence-inspiring for riders who find larger ADVs intimidating. When you used to avoid routes that looked rough, then now you will start looking for them. That kind of shift in attitude is priceless. The bike's comfort isn't about luxury features. It's about giving you the freedom to ride longer and explore further without worrying about wrestling 600 pounds of machinery. In 2026, the Ibex 450 is the bike you buy when you want to open up the world of adventure without limits. It's simple, capable, and far more fun than its size suggests. Honda CRF 1100L Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES. The Africa Twin has always had a reputation for toughness, but the Adventure Sports ES version brings long-distance comfort into the equation. This bike is built to devour miles. The seat is wide, the riding position relaxed, and the electronic suspension adapts to whatever the road throws at you. Add in heated grips, cruise control, and a tall windscreen, and you've got a bike ready for serious expeditions. Price lands in the $17,000 to $18,000 range, depending on trim. That's premium, but it feels justified. I remember chatting with a rider who said, "The bike feels fresher than I do. I swear it's carrying me, not the other way around." That's Honda's engineering at work, reliability blended with long-haul comfort. For 2026, the Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES remains one of the most complete ADVs you can buy. It offers the legendary Honda dependability, but with enough creature comforts to make every ride a pleasure, no matter how far you plan to go. Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. Finally, we close with Italian sophistication, the Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. This is the luxury end of adventure motorcycling, and it wears that badge proudly. Sit on the Rally, and you immediately notice the plush seat, the tall protective fairing, and suspension that feels like it's reading the road ahead of you. Comfort here isn't subtle, it's indulgent. With prices hovering around $30,000, the V4 Rally is one of the most expensive bikes in the category. But with radar-assisted cruise control, top-tier electronics, and Ducati's smooth V4 engine, it feels like money well spent. It is like a Bentley on 2 wheels, except it can climb mountains. And that's exactly what it is. For 2026, the Multistrada V4 Rally represents the pinnacle of adventure luxury. It's fast, comfortable, and endlessly capable, proving that sometimes the best adventures come wrapped in a little Italian flair. Now, here's something really cool which I missed out on earlier. The BMW GS family has sold more than 1 million units worldwide since its debut in 1980, making it the most successful adventure platform ever built. That legacy is exactly why the GS, and bikes like it, dominate lists like this in 2026. So now it's your turn. Which of these 10 would you take on your next adventure? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more into the bikes that matter.